Back to school can definitely be a stressful time, especially if you have multiple children going to multiple schools. Things can get pretty hectic pretty quick. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can utilize features within Informant to make things a little bit less stressful so that you can keep up with schedules, bus stops, and all of the in-between sorts of things. First, you have your school schedule, the days that your kids are going to be out of school. What I like to do is once I get that printout from the school, I like to create a calendar specifically for my kids' schedule. And the way that you can do that is to go into your Informant settings, and then you're going to tap on Calendars, Triggers, and More, Manage Calendars. From here, you can select the plus sign at the top right to create another calendar. And you'll see that I've already created the school schedule calendar here. Once you have your calendar created, you're going to go back into your calendar and you'll select the days that they have days off. And you'll see my kids' first day off from school is September 5th. The way that I like to set these up, just so that they're easy to see when I'm checking my calendar, is I go in and I create an event titled No School. And if you'd like to add more to that, for instance, this is a teacher workday, you can go into the comments in your event and just put teacher workday there, and then you'll know why they're out of school, if that's something that you also like to keep track of. But one of the things that makes it easy for me to see as I'm glancing at the calendar is if I make this event all day, and I'll show you the difference. If I have the no school set and I don't set it for all day, we'll say we start it at 8 a.m. We'll save that event, and you'll see on the calendar, it does say no school there on the 5th, but it's a bit hard to see when just glancing. So I like to do this. I like to go into the event and toggle this all day to on. And what that does is it creates the event in a filled in bubble so that you can just easily glance at the calendar to see that the kids are out of school that day. And we'll just go through this calendar a little bit so you can see. I've got no school on the 17th. They get report cards on the 27th. There's teacher work days on November 7th and 8th, Thanksgiving break, winter break. It just makes it really easy to see as you scroll through the calendar trying to make plans what days the kids are actually out of school. One of the other things that you'll have to keep up with once school does start are bus stop times and where the bus is going to pick your children up if they are taking the bus. I like to make notes for this so that I can easily access that information when I need to. So if you go into your notes view, you'll see that I've made a bus stop note. And if you open that up, you'll see the bus picks up one of the kids at 7:20 in the morning at the corner of Cottonwood and Black Walnut Street, and then they get dropped off at 3:30 in the afternoon. And then the other kid gets picked up at 8:25 in the morning at the corner of Cottonwood and Paper Mill, and they get dropped off at 3:45. And it just makes it easy when you need to know what time your kids need to be out at the bus stop or what time they're going to be home from school, just to tap on that note and glance quickly at those times and where they get picked up. Another thing that you may have to keep track of when your kids start going back to school is the school supply list. And I would say that the best way to handle that is to, on the day that maybe you're going to go shopping, let's say you're going to go shopping tomorrow on the 17th, you can create a task for that day. And if you sort of scroll the screen down a little bit, you'll see that you can switch between task and checklist. I would make it a checklist and then title it School Supplies. And for these, sometimes I like to also add icons so that I can just glance and see what I'm looking at. So for this school supplies, we'll just do a pencil. And then you can start making your checklist. So, of course, they'll need pencils. Then you can hit next and enter the next item. They'll probably need notebooks. And then you could even put in parentheses, 3. So you need 3 notebooks. And then folders, and we won't go through the whole thing, but just so that you can see how to make a checklist. We'll just put a few things on here. Let's do highlighters. So you can add all of your checklist items, and you can make sure that they are saving to your Informant sync, so that if you want to look at these from another device or you're sharing this with your spouse, they have access to it as well. You guys can log into the same Informant sync account and you'll both have access to this information. But you can hit save. And when you go to look at that task, if you hit the little arrow beside it, so while you're in the store, you could easily check off the things that you've already picked up. And I just think that that is one of the features that makes keeping track of things that you need to buy for school supplies definitely a lot easier. And then for my kids, what I like to do, because they both have cell phones, is I like to share my Informant Sync account with them on their phones so that they have access to this little project that I make. So we'll go into our task view and you'll click on projects, and you'll see that I have a project titled Back to School. Now I already have this project created, but in order to create a project, you'll just go into your projects and then tap that plus sign at the bottom right hand side of the screen and add your information here. So for their Back to School project list, I've added 2 checklists here, one for morning routine and one for afternoon routine. So you'll see I've got all of their morning routine and afternoon routine here ready for them to check off. Brushing the teeth, putting the deodorant on, making sure you brush your hair, check your backpack for anything you might need to bring to school, and then make your bed. For the afternoon routine, I like to make sure that any papers that they have that I need to sign are handed to me when they get home. Otherwise, they wait until the very last minute, and then we're rushing around in the morning and they say, as they run out the door, "Oh, Mom, you have to sign this paper." So I think that having a little routine here with check marks that they can every day sign off on each thing that they've got to complete makes it easier not only for you, but for them as well. And you can make these tasks repeat every day. And the way that I have this set up is I've got the task all created here with their checklists. And then you have your repeat options right here. And I have it set on a custom repeat weekly, and then I have it set to repeat every week, and then you select your days down here. So I have it set to repeat every day, Monday through Friday. So these checklists will come up every single day on Monday through Friday for my kids to check off those things on their checklists. These are just a few things that you can do to make life easier when your kids go back to school. Definitely, projects are a big thing to keep track of a lot of things that you have going on every day. And then just creating a simple task checklist, adding the school calendars to a calendar that you've created in Informant. All of these things make a very hectic time much easier to deal with when you can see it right in front of you on your calendar.